Stella Dallas. I'm going to talk about that. This film here for a little bit. 1937 film starring Barbara Stanwyck, John Bowles, Anne Shirley, Barbara O'Neill, Alan Hale, Marjorie Main, George Walcott, Tim Holt, and Shoemaker. Samuel Goldwyn production film. The DVD is released through Warner Brothers. Barbara Stanwyck was nominated for a Academy Award, as well as Anne Shirley as Best Supporting Actress. Barbara Stanwyck was nominated for Leading Actress in this film, which she should have won. Basically, Stella Dallas is a film about a woman who comes from working class family who has dreams of becoming part of society, because she reads these magazines and stuff like that. That she has dreams of marrying somebody who's rich, who has money, and get out of her working class environment. Because she's embarrassed by where she lives, and then she meets Stephen Dallas, who was played by John Bowles, and he works for this big company, he makes lots of money. He's head of the company, and they wind up getting married and having a child named Laurel, played by Anne Shirley. At least later in the film, when she was, they show her as a baby and a little girl. Alan Hale plays in the film, plays Eddie, kind of a drunk, party, happy-go-lucky type of guy. Not good sort of people to be hanging around with. At least in Stephen Dallas's eyes, he's not the type of person, because he's not into that kind of clubbing and drinking and stuff. And actually, Alan Hale's character kind of creeped me out a little bit, especially with the little girl, because the way he was talking to her and holding her and stuff like that. Kind of creepy nowadays, but back then I guess it was normal. I quite enjoyed the movie. Soap opera-ish film, in a way. Good drama, comedy. There's some bits of comedy in it, especially when Alan Hale's in it. It was beautifully photographed too. And it's just watching this little girl, Laurel, grow up, and how Stella's dealing with raising her, because her husband goes to New York to run a big company. He's making lots of money. And he meets his ex-wife, or ex-fiancée, I'm sorry. But he's married to Stella still, who lives, they've been separated, because she didn't want to go to New York. She wanted to stay where she was at and live the life she wanted. And they just weren't made for each other in that respect. They weren't a match. So she tries to do things right by Stella, but everything she does not work out. And she sends her Laurel to go live with her father in New York. And the girl found out that that she didn't want to stay with her father after a while, that she wanted to be with her mother, because her mother sacrificed her to go there, and because she actually was sent under their false pretenses. But it'll make you tear up at the end, that's for sure. I was going to say, this film should have been an Academy, at least won the Academy Award. It's a great performance by Barbara Stanwyck. I'm kind of sort of getting into her films lately. I watched a few on Amazon Prime, some of her older ones. They had some of her films with Columbia Pictures on there, pre-code era type films. And then I heard Bob Harrison talk about this on films that he watched. I think he watched it on TCM. And So I was like, I'm going to pick that up because I do like Barbara Stanwyck. I watched one just last week, um, Lady of Burlesque, kind of different. She sings in it and does burlesque type stuff. Um, I always remember Barbara Stanwyck from the Big Valley. It was a TV show, and it used to have reruns on the time during the daytime. In the summertime, we'd watch it would come on like 10 o'clock in the morning, and that's where I knew about Barbara Stanwyck. But my mother had always liked her. She was her and Betty Davis. She liked those tough women, very independent, tough women. That's how my mother was. And plus, Barbara Stanwyck come from Brooklyn, where I was born, and yeah, it was. That's why my mom liked her, I guess. Not just because she was from Brooklyn, but because she was a strong, independent woman, and probably one of the few back then. She wasn't the what do you call it? One's always in need, help type actress. You know, she was no Rita Hayworth, but I mean, this woman. What attracts me to Barbara Stanwyck is how strong of a character, or how strong of a woman she is in this in most of her films. She wasn't like any other actress back then. So, anyways, I rambled on a little bit too much. But if you're looking for a film to watch and you're into classic Hollywood films and ones that kind of go under the radar, there's one here, Stella Dallas, another two big ass trucks just drove by the house. Stella Dallas would be your type of film, especially if you like soap opera-ish films. Alan Hale, right there, you can see there. His son, Alan Hale Jr., played on Gilligan's Island as skipper. I always remember Alan Hale from It Happened One Night with Clark Gable and Claudette Colbert. You've seen him in a lot of films. He was actually in a lot of silent films too before this, with Douglas Fairbanks as well. So, yeah, that's just my thoughts on Stella Dallas. Like I said, it's a good film to watch, and soap opera-ish in a way. Make you tear up at the end. You know, to watch this, and yeah, watch them movies. Watch them classic movies. Those are the best movies around, I think. Bye.